Hello, Singapore. It's such a big pleasure to be here today. I'm going to talk about Adobe gaming solutions, and that's particularly about two things, Flash and Adobe AIR. So let me introduce myself a little bit. I live in Austria. I originally come from Czech Republic. I lived a very long time in Prague. And you can write me email to tomkr@adobe.com if you have an interesting project you are working on. And what I actually do in Adobe, I travel around the world, I speak at conferences, I work with people who are building games and helping them to make the games even better, and that's basically it. So, my session here today is going to be about two specific things we are working on at Adobe, and we are investing a lot of money into them. So, one of these technologies is obviously Flash. I guess everybody knows Flash. The other technology is Adobe AIR, which basically allows you to take Flash application to devices, to desktop, and so on. So, why is Flash so important? So one of the most important things around Flash is that you can actually reach a huge amount of people when you are developing Flash applications. And it's actually 11 times bigger compared to PlayStation, Xbox, and Wii together. So you can actually reach 1.3 billion people in the world, and that's a huge number in terms of developing your games and reaching the big audience. With Adobe AIR, it's actually very similar. But instead of reaching people who are playing your game inside the browser, you're actually reaching the people who are on mobile phones, who are basically installing and playing the standalone apps. So that means, for instance, like apps on Windows, or for instance on Mac, coming from Mac App Store, Steam platforms, and so on. Then you can also compile your games to native iOS app and deliver it through App Store. And you can also take your Flash game and compile it for Android and deliver it through Google Play. So you can basically, with Flash, reach all the platforms inside the browser and also outside the browser. So it's very powerful. And that's also the reason why people are choosing Flash. So currently, 70% of browser-based games are actually built in Flash. 9 out of top 10 games on Facebook are currently built with Flash. 70% on Google Plus are built with Flash. Top games from EA and Zynga are built with Flash. And most of these games are currently just using CPU. But what we have announced last year is that we are bringing into Flash GPU acceleration, so you will be able to actually get games like games that are currently running on PlayStation, Xbox, and so on, and you will be able to compile these games from C++ and so on into Flash and run them inside the browser. So imagine what would happen if you could actually tap into GPU inside of Flash and utilize the GPU into Flash. So Flash on the GPU is something what we call Stage 3D. It's a new rendering layer which is actually below the current display list rendering, and it allows you to run things on the GPU. So truly utilize the GPU acceleration inside the browser on your machine, in mobile phones, and also on desktops. So let me show you a quick example. I will have a lot of examples here today for you. It should be, it's 3 p.m., right? So we should really relax, and enjoy the demos and basically get inspired. So let me show you one of the first demos I have here. It's a game called Black Sun. It's a game by a company from France called AIR, and this is actually how the game looks like. So it's a 3D game, and it's sort of like third-person shooter where you have to kill aliens. And you can basically see the future of Flash gaming. You can see a lot of effects, like 3D game, shooting game sounds, and so on. AI implemented inside the game, and so on. So we can walk to this room. How do you like it? It's good compared to Farmville and so on. I think it's a nice feature. And so on. So that's Black Sun. So it's one of the games I wanted to show you. The other game I want to show you is called Nima. I watched the last presentation, and it was apparent that actually, MMORPG games are very popular in Singapore, so I have one of those MMORPG games called Nima here for you to show. And it's a game prototype built by Freema Studios. And just play. When I was in China last week, I was told that Nima means my mom. It was quite funny. So it's not really my mom game, but it's an RPG. So you have this girl here, that's what I chosen, and you have to solve different quests inside the game. You have to fight against bad guys here, you know, and you can also use these spells here, like this one, you know, to kill them. You can also walk here, see nice particle effects coming from the fire. So really, Flash gaming has moved somewhere else. It's now about doing the thing that you were doing previously for Xbox, PlayStation, and so on. Right now, I'm behind a lead. So right now, you can basically take this level of experience and port it to mobile and browser-based gaming, you know. So we can again cast the spell, kill them, you know. I wanted to show you one really nice thing here. It's a waterfall composed of particle effects and so on. So it's really beautiful, you know. So if you compare the things you can do right now in Flash to things you were able to do a couple years ago, so that's a huge difference. Okay, so that was my mother, and of course it's not about gaming, you know. It's not only about the gaming, it's also about things like marketing websites and so on. And one of those websites I want to show you today is a website of the new car from Renault. It's called Renault Twizy, and it's pretty amazing. David Guetta did the music for the website, and it's really nice. And you can also connect the experience with your Facebook, and so that's what I do here. I'll just click Facebook Connect, and it will load the game. Takes some time to load assets and everything, so we'll have to wait a little bit. But hopefully it's not going to take that long. Just tells me how to play the game. There's a little guideline here at the beginning, but you will see it's very lovely. I would say it's psychedelic. So you can control the car. You can see it's connected with my Facebook account. So there will be names of my friends on the top. The beginning is quite boring, but we will get to the point. Things like that are really amazing, and you can do them right now in Flash. So this is all running on GPU on your graphic card. What do you guys think? It's good? So you can really utilize the full power of the GPU and build such amazing things like this one. If you want to try it by yourself, definitely check out the website, visit Renault.com, and you will be able to play by yourself. And it's all built with Flash Player 11. Stage 3D view exploration here. Particle effects, and so on. It's really nice. So there was Renault Twizy. One of the other websites I want to show you is Nissan Juke. It's again a marketing website. It's sort of a game where you have to basically play with drive a car, and it's sort of like the modern car configurator built with the latest Flash player. So I just hit start button, load everything, and as you probably know, most of these websites before were using like these 360 effects, you know, and usually what they did is they put a car on the stage and they did like a lot of pictures, sequence of pictures around, and you were just switching between the pictures, and it was making this effect of 3D, you know. But right now what you can really do is take a 3D model, high quality 3D model with nice textures, put it on the website inside the Flash, and have the car really in 3D, so it's not like glitchy switching, but it's really a nice 360 movement, you know. So we'll keep it for later. We will wait until it loads. And for now, I want to show you one of the other things. We are cooperating with Unity on the export plugin, which is basically allowing you to take your Unity game or Unity creation and export it to Flash. The way it actually works is described here. Oops.
Hi.
So this is actually how it looks like. This is the Unity environment. If we move ahead a bit, you can see this is one of the games, very popular games built with Unity engine. It's called Shadowgun. It was a featured game on iOS and Android. And when we move ahead, we can see that there is a new export option for Flash player. And you can basically pick the Flash player. It will export into the Flash player, and the game will run inside the browser. So this is right now the same game, same code that was produced early for iOS and Android, now running inside the browser. And you could potentially take this game and deploy it on Facebook and monetize it with a new different ways available online. Excuse me. So let's check if the game actually, if this already loaded. Okay, nice. So this is how it looks like. You can walk around the car. You can see it's very smooth because it's a 3D model with nice textures. You can, for instance, switch the wheels here, pick one of the other wheels. It's really nice. What else you can do here is, for instance, change the color of the car. I like blue. And white is also beautiful. So you can see there are these nice shader effects. Again, you can change the wheel. You can open the door, walk inside the car, check the interior, and basically hit the drive button. Now you have to collect these points, you know, and once you collect them all, it will write Nissan Juke on the screen. So again, a really nice stage 3D experience, something you can build with Flash right now. If you compare it to possibilities that were here like before with CP rendering and display list, this is totally something else. So let's move on. I've spent some time in China recently, and I just want to show you what these guys are actually producing out there. It's really amazing. I haven't seen such games before online, and it's just incredible things. So just relax and sit back and enjoy what these guys are building in China. It's amazing. It's an MMORPG game. Okay, I probably didn't download the whole video. But, beautiful, right? Isn't it? It's really nice. I love it. One of the other games I want to show you is this one. It's again similar concept, you know. Most of these guys are coming from the productions of games for PlayStation and Xbox, so they have huge experience in 3D and GPU programming. But what you can really imagine right now is these worlds, these huge worlds running on Facebook, on social networks in the future, and the integration with social networks is so powerful for RPG games. So that's one of the other games. This game is really nice. This is sort of like Street Fighter Mortal Kombat game in 3D, running again in the browser. It's one of the fights between two heroes. As you can see, particle effects, sort of FX physics, and so on, you know. So this is something you will be able to see online very, very soon. And this is basically where it all goes, you know. So a typical fight between two heroes, nice thing. One of the other things I want to show you is, of course, at the beginning I was showing third-person shooter. Third-person shooters and first-person shooters are a huge topic, and they have a huge user base in the world. So one of the other games is called Flash Strike. This is sort of a social first-person shooter where you have like a real-time multiplayer. You can so you log in, play against each other in real-time mode. Things like that and even more you will be really able to see very, very soon online, and it's just amazing era that is coming. Okay, what else you can do on GPU? So one of the other things you can do on GPU is image processing. I just want to show you a quick example of that. One of my friends from Russia recently finished his library for GPU processing. So you have any sort of image. It can be coming from camera, it can be coming just from any sort of JPEG or PNG file, and you can apply the effects on the GPU, and as you can see, it's really, really fast because it's running on the GPU, so you can do real-time effects on the GPU, you can combine these filters, and so on, you know. So before, if you were doing this in Flash, you were most probably doing this on the CPU, and it was all CPU bound. So your processor was running like 100% CPU, and it was hitting your PC, and it wasn't good. Right now, you can do all these sort of shaders and image processing on the GPU, and as you can see, it's just incredibly fast. So things like that, and so on, you know. So if you want to check this out, this is a library called GPU Image by Eugene Zatipyakin. It's really amazing stuff. It's open source, so you can also tap into the code, into the shaders, and check it out. One of the reasons why Angry Birds chosen Flash is the ubiquity of Flash Player. So when they were about to port their mobile game to Facebook, they asked themselves the questions, okay, so which platform we should use? Should we go with HTML? Should we go with Flash? And they've chosen Flash because that time we were actually going out with Flash Player 11 and also with a library that is used for 2D GPU rendering, which is called Starling. And how many of you have played Angry Birds on Facebook? A couple of you? But you know Angry Birds, right? All right, all right. Cool. So one of the things they had to do is they had to change the revenue model. So it was in terms of coming from the mobile game to the social browser-based games. So they had to change into freemium model, and they had to get the money different way from the users, you know. And they have chosen the Flash for the high reach. They are utilizing the GPU acceleration, so they can do all sort of these effects, you know. And they are using Starling framework, which is running on top of Stage 3D. So Stage 3D is not only about 3D games, but it's also about accelerating 2D content and 2D games. And for physics, they are using Box2D AS3 port, and they're using Box2D in their mobile games as well. So what do they gain by using Flash? One of these things is full screen experience, so the game really feels like native game. When you, for instance, download the game from Mac App Store of Angry Birds, it is a native game, and you can run it in full screen. Here, you can do the same. So you just hit the full screen button, and from the little window that is your space on Facebook, it will pop up into the full screen experience, which is really beautiful. The other things that they implemented, one of those things is Shop for buying power-ups, and the other one is Avatar Creator, where you can build your own avatar. This is how the game actually looks like in the full screen experience. So the game is really running on the full screen. You have the full screen for yourself. The game is really beautiful. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. Then you can build your own avatar. This is another monetization model for them. And you actually pay some dollars for that. So they gain money for that. This is my avatar. What do you think? Good? I think so. I like the rabbit ears. Really cool. So one of the other things that they have implemented into the online version are those power-ups that help you to make higher score, beat your friends, and so on. There are a lot of other social integrations, like one of those social integrations are, of course, leaderboards. So you fight against your friends, you know. You can see the leaderboard right on the right side of the game all the time. So if you beat someone, you immediately know that, you know, so that's really nice. One of the other features they have recently implemented is ability to include Angry Birds inside your own web page, you know. So inside your blog, you can also post a level from Angry Birds into the Facebook stream, you know. So for instance, like I finished this level 31, you know, and I want my friends to beat me in this level, you know. So I just take a link of that level, I post it to my Facebook stream as a status update, and when people just hit play, they're able to run the game in full screen and immediately beat you and so on, you know, and it's a really nice thing. And as I already mentioned before, this game is using 2D GPU rendering, and for that they have picked one of those frameworks that is using Stage 3D for rendering of 2D content, and that's called Starling. I have today, after this session, I have a little workshop of basically getting started with Starling. So if you are a developer or interested in developing with Starling, you should definitely come. It's going to be more technical oriented about what you can do with Starling and how easy it is. So if you're interested in building 2D games on GPU with Flash, definitely check out the workshop, which is right after this session. And if you don't have time for that, just go to the website starlingframework.org, and you can find out more about how to use the framework itself. There is a huge documentation for that, video tutorials, and so on. On the other side, when we have announced Flash Player 11 in basically 2 years ago, one of the biggest issues was that we were supporting only basically the newest GPU drivers, you know. So what it means is that if you build a game that was running on top of Stage 3D, it was usually running GPU accelerated only on the newest PCs or newest machines, So right now we see this is a huge problem, and we are investing a lot of money into testing all the drivers, because all the drivers are very dangerous. All the drivers crash. All the drivers are not that stable as the newer drivers. So what we are doing right now is testing each driver, each card by card, and certifying these cards for Flash Player. So with 11.2, which is the current release, we went down to 2008. With the release, which is currently codenamed Dolores, and will be out this year, we are going down to 2005, 2006, which is totally enough for running your game GPU accelerated on about 80% of the PCs around the world. And that's a huge thing. We are, of course, investing into a lot of gaming features. One of those gaming features is mouse lock. This is essentially enabling first-person shooter kind of games inside the Flash. What it basically means is, let me show you a quick demo of that. Okay. So, this is mouse lock, and as you can see, I'm controlling the game, but the problem is that as soon as I go here, they will basically stop. Mouse lock enables you to do one thing. So if I go into full screen mode, you can see that I can move really freely, and the borders, boundings of the screen doesn't stop me. And that's very important if you're playing first-person shooter games. So this is something. This is a little feature, but very powerful. And without this feature, you won't be able to deploy a first-person shooter game, because it won't be possible. If you would go with your mouse, it would basically stop at the end of the screen, and it won't allow you to move freely around and rotate freely. So one of the very powerful features, very small, and we're really focusing on enabling gaming inside the browser using these features, through these features. One of the other things we were asked for a long time is support for right-click and middle-click. This is also something which is very powerful for gaming. Again, for first-person shooter games especially, so you can use one button for shooting, another one for reloading, or for shooting from the other weapon, or whatever, or throwing a grenade, and so on, or basically for opening some context menu. So let me quickly show you how such a right-click can actually look like. I have a quick demo of that here, built by Lee Brimlow a couple days ago. As you know, if you have clicked before on Flash, it has showed a menu telling like about Flash Player, whatever. Right now, if I right-click, you can see this is the context menu, and I can switch a different leader, and so on. So you can really utilize mouse lock freely for your own purpose, and use it for whatever you want. One of the very important things we are implementing right now, and it's already available on the pre-release for top game developers, is concurrency. Concurrency is something that allows you to basically offload high-load tasks to a separate thread. So things like artificial intelligence, pathfinding, physics, or parsing some bitmap or 3D world or 3D model can be offloaded to a separate thread. What it actually means is if everything is running in the same thread and you are processing something, it basically locks the UI. So if you have a 3D game and you start processing artificial intelligence, it will start to get choppy. So how to solve this problem? With concurrency. You basically take this task, which is a heavy load task, offload it to a separate thread. You still get 60 frames per second in the main thread, and everything is running separately. Once it is computed, you will get a message, hey, I've computed this. It's like a separate guy who is computing math for you. You can imagine like that. Timeline for that, I think it should be this year. So look forward to that. Write me email, okay? So, that's amazing stuff that is coming to Flash Player. Next to that, we have implemented a couple more features like multi-threaded video decoding, texture streaming. Flash Player Next is something we are working on. And what it actually means is the upcoming Flash Player in the future will have a new core. So right now, we're really focusing on performance, and performance is #1 word at Adobe. And what we want to achieve is really incredible speed for you as a game developer, you know. So you will be able to really utilize most of the, I would say, steel or PC power that you have available for your own game, you know. So we are rewriting the core, so it's going to be way faster. We're working on the next action script, which is going to be way more powerful and allow you to do even more things. And the reason for that is simple: performance, speed. If you would like to start writing your own Stage 3D engine, because it's pretty hard, it's not like building a simple thing. This is GPU programming. So if you would like to tap into that, there is a nice book by KRCHA. It's called Adobe Flash 11 Stage 3D Mousehole Game Programming. It's also available in PDF. You can buy it, and it will basically teach you how to use low-level Stage 3D functions inside Flash. There is also an introduction into shader programming inside of Flash, which is using assembly language, assembly graphics, Adobe graphics assembly language called AGL. And basically, throughout the book, you will build your own first 3D engine, which then you can take and augment into something even better and bigger. But if you don't want to do that, you know, like building your own engine is sometimes a pretty hard thing, then you can take one of those engines that are currently available, like Ava 3D, excuse me, Ava 3D, Starlink, Flare 3D, Alternativa 3D, ND2D, Genome 2D, and so on. So there are plenty of them. So that was all about the desktop right now, but we are also doing a huge improvements on the mobile side of the thing. And that's where we use AIR for that. And I want to talk specifically today about AIR for iOS. So what it basically allows you to do is take your ActionScript application, which is running inside the browser in Flash, and port it on iOS using Adobe AIR. What it basically does is that it cross-compiles ActionScript into native bytecode, and then you can deploy the app in App Store or on Android in Google Play and so on. So a lot of people, of course, ask, okay, but AIR cannot do all the things that if I choose like native development I can do. For instance, like access to gyroscope, access to Game Center, access to device-specific things or platform-specific things. You know. So for that, we have native extensions. There is something that is not supported by Adobe AIR. You can basically develop it by yourself using native extensions in C, C++, Objective-C, or on Android, you can use Java or C++ or C for developing that. And one of those things is, for instance, like in-app purchase, inside your app, or integration with OpenPaint, integration with Game Center, and so on. And if you don't want to develop it by yourself, there are already a lot of people working on these extensions. And these extensions have extension called .ane. And you can either buy it from them, or you can either download some freely available ANEs and use them for your own apps just freely, you know. And the way it works is basically the same as you are using some external Swig library. You just load the library to your application, and it will show you the ActionScript API, which you can tap into and basically call native code using the ActionScript. So you can also imagine things like image processing or like super heavy tasks that must be running natively. You know, you can offload them to the native code and so on, but still gain the easiness and I would say the power of programming in ActionScript, the speed of programming in ActionScript, but also utilize native code if there is a reason for that. All right, speaking of iOS, I have one of these use cases here. I'm pretty sure you have probably heard of it. It's called Machinarium. It was a game of the week. It was one of the games. How many of you heard of Machinarium? How many of you played it? Finished? No one? Couple? Cool. Nice. It's a very tough game. I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking here about Machinarium, as most of you already know the game. So this game was developed obviously in Adobe AIR. They have the other problem or the other issue. They had to take the desktop browser game and compile it to mobile. And obviously Adobe AIR was a nice solution for that. So the game was #1 game in 14 countries, including US, #1 app in 2 days in US App Store, you know, so they were really powerful and successful. It was Game of the Week at Apple App Store and so on. Build with Flash, Flash Pro, Flash Builder. What I want to show you here today, and things that you haven't probably seen before, are the screenshots of the game creation, you know, which might be interesting for you as game designers. So, these are the levels. This is how the game looks like if you haven't seen it before. This is one of the levels. This is another level. And a lot of people ask, you know, how these people actually work, you know, how these successful game designers work and prototype the games. Of course, with paper and pen, you know. So this is the level design, the first one of the first level designs of this level. This is another sketch of that level, which is already a bit more clear. And here you can also see one of the other levels. This is the square where you have to solve different quests and so on, you know. So this is basically how they prototype the levels and how it looks like. So there's nothing super special. I think most of us game designers, game developers use the same technique. For instance, here it works the way that they have sketched the background and they put it inside of Photoshop. They duplicated the position of the little robot called Joseph and put it inside a game, and they just use some nodes for noting the game because it's fast. It's fast to use pen. Probably you wonder how these people really work. You know, what does their office look like? So this is their office. This is how it looks like. These people are making incredible money. You know, so and they're making one of the most successful games in the world. It's incredible. You know. It's one of the main artists for the game. It's his atelier, and this is him drawing one of the final sketches of the game. These are the sketches. You can see it's incredible, you know. But really, would you expect something else? Do you think such incredible art can be produced in a sterilized office? I don't think so. So, this is how they work. It's incredible, and I've spent a lot of time with them. It's just incredible time. So right now they have released a new game, which is called Botanicula. Have you heard of it? Yeah, it's very successful. Again, on Mac App Store. It was deployed on Mac App Store using Adobe AIR, kept the runtime, which is the new feature we have released in AIR 3.0, but in AIR 3.3, which is coming out very soon, we have actually added the support, better support for Mac App Store. So right now we are basically we are on the same line as the rules and guidelines for a Mac App Store are set. So if you are porting your game for Mac App Store and Steam, then you should definitely check out AIR 3.3 because it will make hassle-free deployment of your game on Mac App Store. I have a quick trailer for the Botanicula for those of you who haven't played the game or the game won IGF International Games Festival, Independent Games Festival award for excellence in audio, and they were nominated for excellence in art at IGF in San Francisco 2012 in March. Okay. I think the QuickTime cannot play MPEG videos. So let me just run it inside VLC, which should be good. very playful game, exploration, point and click adventure. So like in Machinarium, you have to solve different quests, but Machinarium had 27 levels. This has 145 different screens on one big tree, you know, so it's huge. So everything was done on timelines in Flash Pro, and it's just an amazing piece of work. So there was Botanicula. If you haven't seen it before, check it out on App Store, on Mac App Store or Steam. On Steam, they have integrated the Steamworks API, which is the API for implementing achievements, leaderboards inside of Steam. For that, they have used native extension that they wrote by themselves, and they put extension free for everyone on GitHub. So if you are looking for Steamworks native extension, it's coming from Amanita, and you should definitely check it out. On Mac App Store, the date that Botanicula was released, the two top paid games were actually Angry Birds, Botanicula, and Machinarium. And Botanicula and Machinarium are built with Flash, you know. So it's pretty amazing to see Flash on really high levels, high positions in Mac App Store by Apple. So I want to show you how all these things actually perform on devices, you know, because you have seen a lot of things performing on desktop, but we have around 10 minutes left, and I want to show you how these things work on devices. So for that, I will connect my iPad here and show you how it actually works and looks like. So many people wonder about the performance of Adobe AIR on mobile devices. I have an iPad here, and I'll try to quickly show you how these things actually perform. So where do we start? So one of these first demos I want to show you, that's a ValleyMark. It's like a benchmark for apps for rendering. Let me restart the app so you can see it from the beginning. So this is how it actually looks like. As you can see, 60 frames per second. There is a wavy background. There's this pirate. There are these bunnies, you know, and you can start adding bunnies like that. You know, it still runs 60 frames per second. And as you can see, it's very powerful, you know. So that's nice, right? It's a good performance. Do you even need such many bunnies? I'm not sure about it. But it's nice to have it. So it was 2D. We also support 3D, of course. So one of these apps that is nice to see in terms of 3D acceleration is this app for playing music. It's called Apex VJ. So you pick one of those MP3 files, and it will visualize the music using the shader. So this is Adobe AIR running on iOS. And with this amount of power, you can really build amazing games already. Deploy them on websites, deploy them on devices, and it's just amazing. So what do you guys think? Is it cool? So, yeah, it's still running the music, so let me stop it. One of the games that you can download right now, already on App Store, it's also using Stage 3 for rendering. It's called Geometry Arena, and this is how the game looks like. It's pretty hard to play and hold this, but I will try. It is also Game Center integration using the Game Center native extension. And as you can see, there are thousands of particles. Very powerful. Even though the game looks very simple, it's not really that simple in terms of rendering, and things like that already require a lot of GPU power. So this is something that was built originally for browser, then ported on iOS, and also on Android, so you can get it for these platforms. It is also Game Center integration, as I already mentioned before, so you can like beat your friends in the leaderboards and so on. So, what else do we have here? So Bullet Sky, this is the typical top-down shooter game. Okay. So let me run a different example for that. That was the final version. Just want to show you a quick demo of that, so I don't have to skip the levels. So it's running 60 frames per second. You can fill this bad boy here. And so on, particle effects and so on. But of course you say, okay, that's boring, show us something more. Right, so level 4, it's already a little bit more. You can see there are way more guys attacking me. I can go back, I can show you stage 5, this is incredible. It's just so funny. So I can't even imagine how would I call this weapon. Crazy. So there was Bullet Sky. You can get it on App Store already. What else do we have here? So this Whale Island, that's a game for kids. This was built with Starlink framework. It's also running on GPU. And this is how the game actually looks like. So you have to like smudge this. Switch to English. Start.
There is no winter on Whale Island all.
So the game will load, and it's a game for kids. It's all about the kids, right? So you can take this sun, and like take it from one side to the other side. You have to combine these clouds together using this gesture. We'll make the sound a little bit bigger using pinch, and this is your piggy, and you have to take care of him, and you take these two clouds, and I'm going to combine them together. Everything is so sweet, the world is beautiful. So take these two clouds together, and add more clouds, It will start snowing, and it will be just nice. Piggy starts to run, It's happy. It's nice. So once we get more snow, we will build a snowman, And it's really nice, really nice. So it really feels like native game. You wouldn't say like this is not native, this is running in some technology that doesn't perform well. No, it's Adobe AIR and it runs perfect, So you have to make this gesture of like rotating, and you will get this ball, snowball, bigger, bigger, bigger. And it's the first one. We'll make one more. Okay. So now you can design your own snowman. That's it. Nice. So you get this pose, you get different quests here, what you should do, and so on. You can also blow onto the screen. Yeah, I think I just restarted it. But anyway, just blow into the microphone, and it will get rid of the snow and so on. So it's really nice. So what else I do have here? I have one more top-down shooter, which is called Waste Invaders. It also shows nice power. Again, on the top you can see Game Center integration. It showed me, hey, welcome, my nickname, and I can just play, wait, this. This is really fast. This worked myself. This game runs beautifully on iPad 1 at 60 times per second, iPad 2 60 times per second, iPad 3 60 times per second, on iPhone 4, iPhone 3GS, and so on. Just killed myself. It's pretty cool, isn't it? It's a lot of power you get. So, what else I have here for you to see? Thank you online. This is a very popular game in Russia right now. It's played by millions of people. It's currently available only in Russian, but guys are working on porting it to the other platforms as well. And they have prepared this demo of the game. So this is basically a port of their online version they deployed on one of those Russian social networks. And you can just play the game like that. As you can see, it's running really beautifully. So again, it just took the same code they had for the browser, ported it on iOS, and they have it running really nicely. Okay, so again, to basically summarize this, you build a game for 1.3 billion people in the world. You take it, you deploy it for another millions of people on iOS and Android, and basically gain another revenue just using the same code, utilizing the same knowledge you already have using Flash and Adobe AIR. Okay, and that's probably all I wanted to say you today. So I'll just pop on the screen my contact information if you would like to get in touch with me. If you're building something really cool, totally let us know. We can also help you with answering the questions. I'm your gate to Adobe, so if you have something you need to get answered, if you want to get our help, definitely let us know. We are totally eager to work with you to make your game even better, help you with that, and that's why I'm here, why you have the chance to get to know me. So I'm also a game developer. I'm one of you, so definitely don't be shy. Come to me, talk to me. I'm here to help you with the things. So that's my contact information. And if you have any questions, you can ask right now. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm sorry I didn't get all of the talk, but I'm curious if, did you go into the paying thing now? Because I've read online that some of those extras we're getting now with new Flash are like, we have to pay when we use them.
Yeah, so that's called premium features. And it basically includes domain memory opcodes. That means if you are using C++ compiler, so basically if you have your game already deployed, for instance, for iOS and Android in a native manner, or PlayStation, Xbox, and so on, and you want to take it and gain even more money on Facebook, then you can use one of those cross compilers that is called Alchemy. And what it basically does is that it taps into the memory because it's C++ and so on, so it allows you to use this set of APIs. And this is where you actually pay 9%. If you reach $50,000, then if you have like 51,000, then you pay 9% of $1,000, dollars. And you need to get a license for it from Adobe. And that's not only one of those features. There are more features like isolated storage. Isolated storage means that you can cache your data on the client. So when you load the game on Facebook, it will load like that, very fast, instant play, So you don't lose customers along the way when they are waiting for the game to be loaded, because they just cache it once, and the browser cache is very small. This will allow you to use more. This will basically allow you to store more megabytes and get instant play. One of the other features that is part of the premium features, and you will get together with this package of premium features, is a shortcut icon. So you'll be able to run your game by double-clicking shortcut icon from desktop and so on. So again, direct access to your game, instant play, and basically accessibility of using C++, cross-compiling of that.
So this kind of things mostly also comes in like when I'm using like an external kind of editor, like your example was like I come from the iPhone scene, and from that angle, or from what I've read, because we are thinking about doing stuff in Unity and exporting to Flash.
Yeah.
The premium feature comes in automatically, right?
Yeah, with Unity it comes automatically. But you can also develop the game in ActionScript, and then you don't pay anything.
Yeah.
And also a lot of physics engines are available in Flash. One of those AI engines is also available in Flash, just in ActionScript. So it's really up to you. This is something that allows you to get even more revenue next to the revenue you already get. So it's an added feature.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, basically these features with the monetization and so on came very sudden in terms of communication. It wasn't very well handled, for example, for us for planning into the future and so on. So is there anything like that coming on the horizon or whatever?
No. This is just it. We're right now working really on the speed of the Flash player, concurrency for threading and so on. These are all free features, This is just really connected only with the things where we, basically with the memory opcodes and the things where we need you to have as a trusted customer, for isolated storage and also shortcut,
I mean, is Adobe's strategy basically general kind of game participation and the monetization, or I mean, it's a little bit unclear what the strategy in total is, right?
Yeah, so the strategy is adding features for game developers so they can build better games for Facebook and social networks and basically deploy them online. And also for premium video, So right now, these are two areas where we are focusing in terms of Flash.
But basically, there won't be any, let's say, with features which are there, which are suddenly also put into that box.
No.
Post-mortem?
No.
So
there
if
won't be
anything
anything
comes
else.
into that box,
No.
new
There won't be
features
anything
and so on.
else that will be taken out of you from now on.